Suburban Sentinel here, along with Bella the camera cat, with part one of a review on the Ruger P95. In the first look video, I was talking about how my wife and I wanted 3 additional 9mm handguns to add to our inventory, 1 to keep in the old homestead and 2 more to stash in cache. So in my search for a high value, highly reliable 9mm handgun, we selected this Ruger P95. We wanted a semi-automatic handgun chambered in 9mm with at least a 15 round capacity, and it also had to be a double to single action type. So a couple of weeks ago I purchased this handgun and 2 others just like it from my local gun shop. The 3 handguns, 3 extra magazines, and some ammunition. The total tab was $1,000 even, cash on the barrelhead. This gun has previously been safety checked, but we'll do it again. There's no magazine and the gun is clear. This is a double to single action handgun. First shot is a long, heavy trigger pull to get the hammer all the way back, and after that first shot, again, you'll have the lighter trigger pull for each subsequent shot. This is essentially a full-sized or service pistol size weapon, and it compares roughly in size to the ubiquitous Glock 17. The P95 is a little bit shorter in overall length and a little bit taller in height than the Glock 17. I won't go into all the specs because if you want those, the manufacturers have those online. Of course, these are entirely different guns, the Glock 17 being striker fired and the P95 being hammer fired, and a variety of significant other differences, but they're about the same footprint, or at least that's the gun I have that's closest to the P95 in my modest inventory. Where they really diverge is on the weight. The P95 is a very chunky 27 ounces, where the Glock 17 runs 22 ounces. So we're talking about 5 ounces lighter for the Glock. My purpose here is not to do a side-by-side comparison of the merits of each particular handgun. I just wanted to provide a frame of reference with another very popular handgun model. So we'll get rid of Mr. Glock here. Next, let's take a look at the controls. The P95 has a combination safety decocker that is slide mounted. The decocker is ambidextrous. In the up position, the firearm is ready to fire, and in the down position, the weapon is safe and the trigger is disconnected. If the weapon is cocked in the fire position, one can decock the weapon by simply pulling down on the decocker. That safely lowers the hammer. Pushing the safety back up again allows one to fire in double to single action once again. For those who are 1911 diehards and who carry cocked and locked, this is exactly backwards. And that may be a factor if you're considering this weapon, but we'll talk more about that in either part 2 or part 3 of this video series. The P95 does have ambidextrous magazine releases, both located at the back of the trigger guard in the usual spot for most semi-automatics, here and again on the left side of the weapon. What's unusual about this magazine release, rather than a button that's pushed in, the magazine release is pushed forward along the longitudinal axis of the gun. So pushing forward releases your magazine. And again, same on the left side of the weapon. There is no magazine disconnect safety on this particular weapon. So if the magazine is out and there's one in the chamber, the weapon will still fire. I prefer it that way, but a lot of guns being made today do have the magazine safety disconnect. Although the other controls are ambidextrous, the P95 only has the slide stop lever on the left side of the gun. And it is a fairly big lever that doubles as the takedown pin, and it does stick out quite a bit from the side of the weapon. It makes this gun pretty chunky. I don't know if you can see that on camera there, but that slide lever sticks out pretty far. The grip is somewhat unusual for a polymer gun being built in this day and age. There are grooves cut into the left and right sides of the grip, no stippling, just these rather shallow grooves, and there's no grooves or stippling on the front or back of the grip. I find it gives you a pretty good purchase though. I have no complaints with it at all. The serrations for racking the slide are on the rear only, and they're pretty aggressive, and I find that they work really well. And also the hammer has pretty aggressive serrations too, so if you want to cock the hammer with your thumb, that's very easy to do. P95 also has a Picatinny rail up front. However, there's only a single lateral groove cut into the rail. The fit and finish on the P95 is very good. All the controls are metal. I'm going to quickly show you the internals. I'm going to take the gun down off camera though. I'll do this more in detail when we get to the reliability, maintainability section of the review. Okay, here's the lower, and you'll notice that unlike a Glock or a Smith & Wesson M&P, there are no steel rails incorporated into the lower. The slide rides solely upon the polymer. And we'll talk more about that again in the reliability, maintainability section of this video. But I just wanted to point that out for now. I took all three of these pistols down to the range for a break-in and reliability shakedown. And overall, I was very impressed. The P95, although heavy, especially for a polymer gun, balances very well, and it's a natural pointer. The double action trigger, although heavy, is very smooth and predictable, breaks cleanly. The single action trigger has a fair amount of take-up, but again, it's very predictable and breaks nice and clean. The controls are all within easy reach, even for people with smaller hands. My wife is about 5'3", with medium-sized hands for her height, and all the controls are within reach on the P95. Recoil on the gun is pretty light, and I attribute that to the weight. At 27 ounces, although it's a little chunky to carry, that weight does absorb a significant amount of the recoil. So the gun is very controllable and very easy to shoot. I find shooting the P95 more enjoyable, and I shoot more accurately with this than I do my venerable Glock 17. I really didn't do much by way of accuracy testing. I'm not a big accuracy maven. For me, combat distances are 15 yards or less, and if I can put all 16 rounds in a fist-sized target at 15 yards, I'm very happy, and that was pretty easy to do with this P95. Whether it's as accurate as other guns, such as Glocks, Sig Sauers, I would tend to doubt. I'm not sure, but I would tend to doubt it, but to me that really doesn't matter. As far as reliability goes, I have very limited data because I just got these guns, but I put 125 rounds through each of the three P95s. 100 rounds of variety of target ammunition, Winchester white box, some Blazer aluminum case ammo, and I also put 25 rounds of hot defensive ammo, Spear Lawman or Hornady critical defense through each one, and all three guns I had 0 failures. these things just ate whatever I put in there, and that was very encouraging. The weather during the range session was unseasonably warm for December in New England. It was probably around 50 degrees. I'm going to do another range session with another 125 rounds through each gun in cooler weather. Hopefully the weather will be in the low to mid 20s, and we're expecting that within the next couple of days. We'll see if the guns run as well in colder temperatures. So that concludes part one, or the form, fit, and function section of this review. Part two will look at logistics, reliability, maintainability, durability, interoperability, etc. Thanks for watching. Questions and enlightening comments are always welcome. This is the Suburban Sentinel. Shoot safely, everybody.